So the original plan for this video was to go over ways to increase ankle mobility, which is going to lead to a deeper squat. That'll help you transition to more quad dominant squat and over time help you build big ass quads. But a video popped up in my feed, and I'm definitely not a fan of making content that bashes somebody else's stuff, because people that do that are just building their business underneath the taint of somebody else's hard work. Did make me realize though, there's a pretty controversial subject that I probably should cover, which is what's better for building muscle mass, compound exercises or isolation work? And for me, every time, it's isolation work. Let me start out by saying I've never understood why it's almost common knowledge in the gym that if you want to put any muscle mass, you got to do compound movements, because people argue that's your foundation to the point where actually how you structure your workouts matter. You got to do compound first and then finish with isolation work. To me, that's never been the case. And in fact, the way I train is a big fuck you to both of those. But I do like compound movements, but more so teaching great form, because if you can master compound movements, your form on everything else will be phenomenal. Think about it this way. What do you think is going to cause more of a response? Stressing an individual muscle during a workout or spreading that across several muscles? Now, does that mean I never do any compound movements? No, you've seen me, specifically leg day. I'll do hack squat, leg press, regular squat, but I never just walk into the gym, hop under the squat rack, and cross my fingers and hope they grow. I'm very specific with how I do them. So if I'm trying to hit quads that day, I'll change the form and choose a variation that's going to be more quad dominant, where I'll walk those feet close together, shift those knees over those toes, come up 3/4 the way up. If I'm trying to do hamstring glutes, I'll do the sumo style squat and really try to load those hips, more of a low bar squat. It's very intentional. So even my compound movements, I try to isolate them down to a muscle or muscle group as much as possible. And I understand you're gonna have to suspend some belief on this one to make it happen, because it's pretty much the opposite of what most people say. But I'm not saying it just to be contrarian. It's truly what I believe. It's what I've gotten people results with. But I do think it's funny how in the comments, you can see the exact moment where somebody's head explodes. I made a video where I talked about pretty much all my arm development came from really isolated dumbbell work, but mostly cable work. And there was a comment that said, there's no way that's true. I know he did barbell curls up to this point. He's full of shit. I bet my life on it. That's a weird fucking bet to make. I just said 30 seconds ago it came from cable work. These are short videos. How'd you miss that? So how can you take this information and make it actionable? Well, I'd start out by doing the opposite of what most people say. I would start your workouts with isolation work, because really your goal is to just tear up that muscle as much as possible. So start by fatiguing that, really have a mind-muscle connection built there, and then get into a compound movement where, say you're doing a squat. You're gonna be toast by that point. You're gonna use less weight, but it's gonna be more fatigue on that muscle, and you're gonna get more growth out of it. And then obviously make sure you're more specific with how you're hitting your compound movements. Make sure you try to isolate down the muscle you're trying to hit, and don't just hop under the squat rack and expect your legs to grow. We're not one of those gifted fuckers. And the great thing about training like this is it gets rid of that inherent excuse of bad genetics of having a muscle that just won't grow, because now that you're not just picking weight up and setting it down, you're more specific with how you're targeting and hitting each muscle. It's just a matter of time of trial and error before you get that to grow. For instance, if you have an old man ass and it looks like you're smuggling around 2 Ziploc bags of gravy, then just make every single leg workout really targeted and focused around your glutes, and really turn every compound movement into a glute movement. You're gonna get results. As always, like, subscribe with the notification bell. Leave a comment for the video you want next. If you want the ankle mobility video, I'll do that next. Get after it, get growing. I'll talk to you soon.